mild-mannered chemist, I formulated your toothpaste. Then they came, and everything changed for all of us. First, we sent out our bravest, most competent, most handsome diplomat to meet with them. It didn't go well. They call Earth Region 72. They want to capture us, enslave us, and take our planet. But if we have anything to say about it, our region will remain free.
They're the best. They're the best.
Come on, man!
They released Monster O.
They're here already! You're next! You're next! You're next!
Hello, and welcome to episode number 36 of Region Free. Wow, 36 episodes in to the Region Free run. Wow. And it's the end of June. Where's this year gone? We're halfway through 2022. And the year's already halfway over. But how is everybody? Hope everybody is doing well out there. Let me do some shout outs here before we dive into tonight's show. We've got DJ in the chat. We've got Jessica in the chat. We've got Dave. We've got Mike Barrett, Ben Grimm, Punisher Batman fan, Jeffrey DeShore. Hello from Los Angeles. RJ Skarinki, Laundry Art. Hey, Laundry. Robert Long. How you doing, Robert? Hope you're doing well. So yeah, thank you all for joining us tonight. Let's go ahead and bring in tonight's panel and let's get the ball rolling. Joining me tonight from the Flesh Wound Features YouTube channel, Dan. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, Piz. How are you doing?
Doing very well. Doing very well.
I'm excited for the show tonight. There's probably the greatest sequel soon to be made, perhaps. So I'm eager to talk it.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice. All right. No, it's good to see you, Dan. Hope everything's going well with you. Also joining me tonight, Monty. How's it going, Monty?
Hey, Piz, how you doing, man?
Doing very well. Dan. All right, we got to start the show over.
Dan,
Dropped my phone. I was trying to put it on silent, like conspicuously, and it just dropped. So,
it happens. It happens sometimes. It happens.
It happens. One for the blooper reel.
How's it going, Monty?
Oh man, everything's going good, Piz. I'm happy to be back and shoot the stuff, man, with my fellow movie geeks.
Right on, man.
Talk about what's been going on out here.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Very cool. Good to see you as always, sir.
Good to see you.
Also joining me tonight, we have got Lorne. How are you, Lorne?
I am well, finally. How are you?
That's always a good thing.
Well enough. I had a second bout with COVID, which was a whole lot worse than round one. And then during the course of a visit to the emergency room, they drew blood. When I finally got the results back, which I was already through the worst of it by then, discovered that I had an anaplasma infection at the same time, which is a tick-borne illness. So I was fighting both without knowing it. They have a lot of overlapping symptoms. So it was pretty severe. I was pretty out of it. So I'm sure that the private chat with the Region Free folks was probably an indescribably strange time to read through because I didn't stop just opening my mouth. So
We won't share it publicly.
Whatever. At this point, the reputation's gone.
A lot of fever-induced nudes, but we deleted them all.
Yeah. Well,
Not
I
much
saved,
to see anyway, so.
I saved some for a rainy day in case we ever need, for framing purposes only. So,
There you go. Very
of course, only for framing purposes.
Well, there goes the Senate bid. Whatever. Another libertarian lost the cause.
Yeah. Oh, but it's good to see you, Lauren. Glad you're doing better. Also with me tonight, all the way from New York City, where they make the best salsa in the world, New York City. Stone, what's up, Stone?
Time to get a rope. How's everybody doing tonight? Yeah, I'm doing wonderful. I'm here. I got my Trader Joe's sparkling lemonade, French Market sparkling lemonade for tonight. And I just got out of the Alamo Draft House to talk about a movie tonight. A little bit later, I'm looking forward to that. And other than that, I've also been just enjoying my brand new movies from Australia, including the theatrical cut of The Warriors with the director's cut. This is already sold out. I am so sorry, gentlemen. This is already sold out. It took less than 2 weeks, and it's already. But then they just announced a 4K of it, which will be released by another company. So there you go. So you guys will get the theatrical edition of Warriors on 4K. Finally, it's one of the greatest. But yeah, I'm doing wonderful. Looking forward to talking movies tonight.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Also joining me tonight, the professor, B Movie Mike. What's going on, Mike?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
Man,
How are you?
Hanging in there like everybody else.
Ugh.
That's all you can do, man. Just hang in there and, that's all you can do. But yeah, it's good to see you guys. It's been a little while. We decided to do kind of monthly megasodes throughout the summer, kind of monthly wrap-up shows. And there's been quite a lot going on lately. But first, let's talk about the big theatrical horror film that recently dropped. Everybody seems to be talking about it. That, of course, is The Black Phone, which grossed $23 million domestically over the past weekend. Seems to be a good start for The Black Phone, a original IP in horror, which is always a good thing. How many of you gentlemen have seen The Black Phone here? So it looks like 3 of you. Okay. Well, go ahead. Dan, tell us your thoughts on The Black Phone.
It's not a terrible movie. But it is very, very overhyped. I thought this one was just really, really average. It's hard to compare it to the book because, truthfully, I went back and the short in 20th Century Ghosts, the Joe Hill collection, is only like 32 pages, I think, something like that. So pretty much everything had to be expanded upon, but this is definitely one you don't want to overthink because there's some pretty stupid plot developments, particularly towards the end. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I didn't think it was that scary. Now, in fairness, I'm in the minority. It seems like a lot of people are loving it, but I don't know. It was just some jump scares. Maybe 1 or 2 might be effective for people, but the highlight is Ethan Hawke. He was very good. He is having kind of a career resurrection right now. He's really been firing on all cylinders, but it wasn't enough to. I don't know. It wasn't enough for me. I just think this one's very average, just Blumhouse average, which could be worse, I guess, coming from Blumhouse. They've unleashed some real bombs as of late, but I had a huge issue, and the people that have actually seen it know what I'm talking about, but the adult brother character, that was real. I mean, that was really dumb. That made no sense. Again, I don't want to spoil the movie, but if you've watched it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It was pretty insulting to my intelligence. I thought the kids were likable. The sister character was pretty likable, but as a whole, this one's just a one and done kind of watch. I don't think you have to see it in the theater, to be perfectly honest.
Okay. What would you rate the film out of 10?
Oh, out of 10.
Or a letter grade, however you want to do it.
Okay, well, I will go out of 10. 5 out of 10.
Oh, 5 out of 10. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Monty, your thoughts on The Black Phone?
You know, I fell right in there with Dan too. I think this is a case where it's like the previews and the concept just make your anticipation so high for what you're gonna see, and unfortunately, it's good. It's a cool time waster. I go along the lines. I didn't particularly think it was that scary. I thought Ethan Hawke did have some unsavory things that he hinted at, and I was kind of like, oh, okay, that's a little icky, but it didn't. It was too afraid to push it, And we're talking about a serial killer of children, so I mean, you can only go but so far with that. But I kind of wish maybe they would have streamlined some of the extra supernatural stuff, and that one particular thing, which I'm not in, like Dan said, it's so dumb. It's just like, how could this ever, even for a horror film? So Ethan Hawke's performance and the 70s time setting, that did it for me. I give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay. Has anybody read the, I believe it's a short story, the Joe King short story? Has anybody read it?
Joe Hill.
Joe Hill. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I've read it. There's some differences. Again, I don't want to get into spoilers on the movie since it's so new right now. But in the one thing I can say, in the book, the Ethan Hawke grabber character is totally different. In the book, he's kind of a very obese, kind of Gacy looking guy. There's no mask. If my memory serves me, there's the sister is actually an older sister. They changed quite a bit, changed a bunch of names. Again, it's 30 pages. You'd expect there to be a significant amount of things changed, and the whole child abuse thing with the father, that if it was in the book, I think it might have been a passing mention or something from what I recall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lauren, what did you think of The Black Phone?
I think it's a movie. I think it's straight C. It does a lot of things wrong. It has a great atmosphere. It's never scary. Never scary. It's not even tense. That's the funny thing, is like, it's more like a game. You say, hey, if I was in that room, what would I do? And there's like so many things you could do, by the way. This is like the most careless serial killer in the world, because he's like gives every tool necessary at any point to escape the situation. So it's a little ridiculous in that respect too, but it does have a deep serious tone to it. And one of my biggest pet peeves is, if you can't take your own concept seriously, why are you making a horror film? Right? Horror comedies can work, but they're rarely good. So this takes itself very seriously, maybe a little too seriously. It's with some of the boneheaded decisions. Yeah, the adult brother is bewildering as an existing plot element, but there's something dumber in the film than it. And I won't go into spoilers, but all I'll say is, just check, trust GPS before dead people about directions, because freaking
Oh,
awful. It's possibly the dumbest misdirection ever, because the misdirection is pointed towards the audience, not towards the characters. So it's just done for effect. That is just horrible writing. And to the point, this is to say this is not the worst thing. Go see it, have fun with it for what it is. But I'm really tired of directors writing movies. We need to let writers write movies and directors direct films. This used to be a thing, but now when you look at directors, when you're writing credits, you see that it's a director getting the top billing. Come on. Really? That's why we have these problems. If they're great writers, additionally, and that does happen, someone like an Oliver Stone, right? It happens, but we all kind of know that it's a different skill set most of the time. And I just would like to get back there, you know. Ethan Hawke, everyone is talking him up. Honestly, I think there's a certain amount of fetishism going on. I thought he was okay. I don't think it's a good role for him. I don't think it's going to be something people remember as like one of his career-defining roles at all. I thought it was okay, but right at the moment, people have to, you know, he's on this upward swing in visibility, and people are talking more about him. He's fine. I think that the kids were fine. The main two children were fine. I think all the supporting cast children were awful, but that's to be expected. And they needed to kill at least a dog somewhere in there. I would have immediately made it a C+.
I have one with animal death for you tonight.
I know, but I'm not going to get to it forever.
Barney Likes Beer wants to know, is Black Phone better than Men?
No.
Yeah, I mean, Men is the more interesting film. I didn't like it as much as Lauren did, but yeah, I mean, two very different kind of movies, so it's hard to compare them. Men was more suspenseful. The part that I did enjoy about Men, I thought was very suspenseful and scary, versus Black Phone, which, you know, there was no tension there for me.
So it sounds like a bit of a mixed bag for the Black Phone there.
yeah.
People seem to be loving it, though. I'll be honest. I'm seeing a lot of great reviews. So, yeah.
So to put something into perspective, though, that's a normal review, right? We all reviewed it as a normal movie. As a Blumhouse film, it's probably a B+ as a Blumhouse film. On that sliding like bell curve, yeah, sure. It's just one of the better things you're going to see from them. Sure. But, you know, come on.
Well, this is a topic that I got into during my patron stream, but I know some of you guys weren't there for that, of course. So I want to bring that up to you all here and to everybody watching. And that is the hate for Blumhouse. Somebody posted on Twitter, I don't even remember who it was at this point, but they were like, you know, they were kind of white knighting Blumhouse, you know, like, why does everybody hate Blumhouse? I don't understand it. They're making horror movies that are, you know, making big box office, and, you know, they're making horror movies for horror fans, and they're theatrical and blah, 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 blah. What's with the hate? Why does everybody hate Blumhouse? And then it kind of got off on this. Well, we don't hate Blumhouse. We kind of don't like Jason Blum or his persona on social media. So do you think it's, I mean, for me, I kind of don't pay attention to Jason Blum on social media. I don't think I even follow him on social media. But the movies for me are incredibly hit and miss, to the point where, and I would say mostly miss, to the point where when I see Blumhouse, I'm kind of, oh God, I kind of, you know, it could be The Hunt. We could get another Hunt, you know, hope. But I think we're more likely to get another Black Christmas 2019.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? Is it in the beginning, Blumhouse was like this? We've mentioned this in the past. In the beginning, they were perceived as like the savior of horror, or the studio, whatever. And then, you know, things kind of took a dip. But I'll turn it over to you guys. What do you guys think? Is the hatred toward Blumhouse? Is the hatred toward Jason Blum? Is it a little bit of both? What say you?
Both. They make way more bad movies than they do good. It's a very short list of good movies, I would say. Even their stuff that goes straight to VOD and physical media is forgettable, not fun, even in a old school B movie kind of way. Just forgettable, bland. They don't make good movies, generally speaking. Yes, there are exceptions to the rule. They crank out a ton of stuff, and you're going to get a few that are good. But yeah, I dread that name. I will say, if you saw the trailer for A24's Bodies, 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 if that had the Blumhouse logo on it, I might just kill myself before saying it. So, yeah. Yeah, they still make good movies.
So I just Googled Blumhouse movies here, and here's some of the titles that it threw at me. Of course, Black Phone, which I've not seen yet. Freaky, which I've not seen. Sinister, I like. The original Purge, which I'm not a fan of the original Purge. I like a couple of the sequels are far better than the original. Of course, Halloween 2018, Get Out, Fantasy Island, Happy Death Day, Insidious, Firestarter, The Invisible Man, and most of those I've liked. I liked Sinister, I liked Get Out, I liked Happy Death Day, I really liked Insidious. But then when you sort of scroll over, you get to your Firestarters, and you get to your Truth or Dare, you get to your Ma, The Forever Purge, The Craft Legacy. You get to some titles like that.
Black Christmas. Ugh.
Well, that I've not gotten to that one yet, but I'm sure it's on the list. And wow, they've made a lot of Purge movies. I didn't realize they made so many Purge movies. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. No, did you notice the shift though there? I don't know if you remember a big controversy. It's been a while now when Jason Blum made a comment to the effect of female horror directors and why they don't have a lot of them. Kind of blew up the internet a while back. And I think yeah, it's been years now. I mean, it was before Black Christmas, but yeah, you can look that up. I can't remember the exact quote, so I don't want to quote it, but people sort of ripped him a new one online. I think he overcompensated and just started, making some. Yeah, you look at Black Christmas, that's like the Mac Daddy of bad movies. So there's a lot. Craft Legacy is a strong contender. That was garbage. I feel like there's been more awful ones in the last few years than there ever was before. Yeah, their name just doesn't mean a whole lot to me because I know more likely than not it's gonna be mediocre, if not outright horrific.
But that was kind of the way I felt in the beginning, like in those titles that you were reading, Piz. It was kind of like when all those earlier films came out, and like you, the original what was it called? The original Purge. Not a fan of that, but the Frank Grillo ones were pretty awesome. And I thought it just seemed like the titles were getting better and better. And it was like, okay, this is old school horror. All right. And then it was just like somewhere around that time with like Ma, which Ma was just atrocious. You know what I mean? And then you get stuff like Firestarter, which Firestarter was just kind of just meh. Didn't have any impact on me at all. And then you start getting into stuff like the second Halloween Kills, and you're throwing in all that extra stuff that we don't need as horror fans. We just want to see a horror film. You don't have to sway us with all this messaging. The messaging is what I don't like. That's why they pretty much fell off to me. I think had they stayed original kind of with what they were doing, then it would be okay. But everything is trying to be like Get Out, and kind of have like a message or something else they want to say. Just entertain us. That's all I want.
Yeah. Anybody else want to add their 2 cents on the topic?
Some of those films I enjoyed. Sinister, Insidious, not too bad. But I guess the main problem I have with Blumhouse is their just unwillingness to stop mining dead franchises, right? They're just raping the corpses of dead franchises for cash and prizes. I got no problem with somebody making money, right? Make a movie, put it in there, see if it makes money. I don't care. Let the market decide. But now we're going on what The Exorcist is next after they get done fiddling with Halloween, which they've just destroyed, and haven't bothered with the Black Christmas remake because I don't want to deal with that. There's just, I don't know. Seems like the first half was good. The first half when they started out, then there was a change at some point, which I haven't watched enough of their films. Purge films don't interest me. I don't even think I've seen a full one. But yeah, it's just like I don't know. It's like they can't. It's like half of what they put out is some kind of weak original stuff, and then the other half is just remake garbage. So they're not impressing me right now. I mean, they started out good. Hopefully they can turn the ship around and get back to some good stuff. It's not like I'm down on everybody. I don't hate him personally or even the company. But I just, some of the product they put out in the last, I don't know 5 to 10 years has just been, it's going downhill quickly. And it just, so now I see Blumhouse. It makes me uninterested in seeing the film just because of what they've done within the last, at least since 2018. They've really done a lot to hurt that for me. So if I see Blumhouse on it, I'm not really interested in seeing the film. But if other people are and they're happy with it, they're making money, so somebody's happy, right? So hey, go for it. If you like the stuff, go see it. I don't care, but just don't expect me to be enthusiastic about it. Whatever.
Yeah.
I made a video like 3 years ago, which was titled "Done with Blumhouse," and I mean, the problem is that they became, in our heads, the new Corman House, right? They were keeping budgets in line. They were producing better than average in the beginning, and I think we pinned a lot of hopes. But what happened is that rather than follow the kind of Corman ethos all the way through, they started acting like Hollywood, which they didn't feel like at first. And now it just has this kind of veneer of banality. Everything is nothing really takes chances. Now, that said, The Hunt is a great exception to that rule. And you know what? They're distributing the new Dunstan film, the new Marcus Dunstan film, Unhuman, which, he and Melton, the guys that wrote the Collector movies and a couple of the Saw chapters. And it's a lot of fun. But it's a pickup. There was no boardroom meetings on that one. So, I mean, I think as a vehicle to pick up independent films at festival or to put some money into a film, but it has its financing in another place, Blum may still have a place on the map for us more seasoned horror fans. I think it's made for the mainstream, marketed to the mainstream, and that's fine. It's just not going to be for necessarily the people on this panel. But again, I won't ignore a film just because they put it out. Because again, Unhuman is pretty fun. I had a lot of fun with it. It has a really specific attitude towards the genre, and I think that's a great thing. But at this point, to get excited about a Blumhouse release, I don't get excited by root canals either. So
listen. Black Christmas 2019 set them back years, not just the movie, but how they reacted to it on social media, to me, just really set them back years and years and years. So I lost a lot of respect. I don't think I had a whole lot of respect for him to begin with, but that whole thing, not just that the movie was god awful, but the accusing and finger pointing and name calling that came out around it. And so I can't not think of Blumhouse and not immediately also think of Black Christmas 2019, and that is not pleasant. That is not pleasant. That's a really bad association.
Guys, have you seen the new Blumhouse ident? Their logo ident that's before their films?
No.
It opens with Michael Myers in it.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, the woods and then packs through a window, and you see basically things that are supposed to evoke all their long-running franchises. It's really, really, really pure cringe.
Wow. This is kind of like Marvel, huh? When they show the Hulk. It's crazy.
And I don't automatically hate them. I mean, I actually like Dash Cam, and a lot of people hated that. So, you know, it's not a sure thing that I'm going to hate a Blumhouse movie. It's just a batting average. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, I agree. I do want to ask you guys about recent watches. I know you just mentioned Dash Cam, which is a movie I've also seen too. But the internet, social media is just frothing at the mouth over these rumors that Neve Campbell is secretly signed on to star in Scream 6. And the rumor, I guess, is that it's going to be a surprise. They're not going to announce it. It's just you're going to just be in the movie theater watching, and then all of a sudden Sydney pops up with a Pepsi in her hand or something. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, that's kind of my response to it. Is just kind of like whatever. I mean, I'm really just done with those legacy characters. I really wish they'd move on from them. They keep on bringing them back, and then there's also rumors that they're going to bring back Emma Roberts, and she's dead. And like, why are they bringing back? Let's just bring back every dead character. You know, like if you were one of the new cast members and you just keep hearing about them bringing back old cast members over and over again, at what point do you go, "Wow, they must really think we suck"? So I don't really at this point, I don't care if she's in it. I would prefer her not to be in it. I would prefer Gail Weathers not to be in it. You know, let Kirby do whatever, but we don't need some ghostly Emma Roberts over Kirby's shoulder doing the Billy thing with that new girl from Part 5. We don't need that.
Guys, you're missing the opportunity here. Scream Force Ghosts.
Oh, Jesus.
It's coming.
Oh.
I'm pretty much over it too, Piz. I mean, I just, I mean, first of all, when I saw that rumor pop up, I mean, I understand she said the whole thing of like, this is not working out, they're not paying reverence, so I'm out, paraphrasing. But it's just like, where else can we go with them? The woman has already had an arc. Gail has had an arc. And quite frankly, okay, maybe watch the way I put this, but maybe they're just like a little, what's the expression, long in tooth?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, horror movies are a young person's game, running around, jumping over stuff, tripping over stuff. That's for 20-year-olds. These women are what, 50? You know, it's done. There's nowhere else to go with these characters.
Yeah. Listen, Robert, don't give him any ideas because he's probably on the short list of potential cast members. All right. So yeah, I don't know. It's just it's so silly to me, like how they've the whole Scream 6 thing. It kind of, if there was any enthusiasm to see it, I really don't even feel that anymore, to be honest. It's just kind of like, I don't know.
It's over. It's just done. I mean, I don't understand what else. Now, could they have done something more interesting to close those characters out? Certainly. I don't think it's particularly compelling to just bring them back now and just kill them. It's just, it's done. You had the Dewey thing. Nev's got her family now. Let them go off into the sunset. And if you're going to keep going, focus on a new cast. I would argue that the average moviegoer could not name the new characters.
Yeah,
could not come up with their names.
There was, I'm sure there were a lot of people watching Scream 5 going, "Why are they spending so much time on this old guy?"
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, like, wait a minute, why are they? Why does his death mean anything?
Yeah.
Why is, you know, like what's with that?
And we're getting this new one so fast. There's no time in between to, you know, poke fun at new genre developments or films or anything. It's a cash grab. I have no interest, and I didn't hate Scream 5. I had fun. I mean, it's a Scream movie. There was a lot to enjoy about it. It's not a great film, of course, but you know, there's a lot to enjoy. I don't understand the enthusiasm now for another Scream. I don't. I'm happy for the people that are. there's nothing interesting left to do, and it's just all about let's bring back this dead character or that, it's over. It's time to let it just lie now, in my opinion.
I find it so disturbing that there's an entire generation of horror fans growing up today, okay, who are like just getting their older brothers' hand-me-downs.
Yeah.
They're not getting their own thing to enjoy and have as their own journey. And I don't know. I mean, at least I finally saw Terrifier and I didn't really enjoy it. It is what it is. It's fine, I guess, but it's not for me. But that's fine. But at least the fans of that have their own thing to follow. Scream, Friday the 13th, Halloween. It's not made for their generation. And we keep trying to find ways to make it relevant for them by either stunt casting or whatever. And it's just, you know what? I feel bad for genre fans that are younger because they're not getting their own shit, and they deserve their own shit. They don't need my worn out old Adidas. That's for sure.
We've got probably it's very opportune time that this person's joined us in the green room because they are a huge Scream fan. All they do is talk about Scream. They do like these daily Scream streams, and all their videos like, ooh, what's the mask gonna look like? And ooh, are they gonna kill off Gail? And ooh, and I'm just gonna bring this guy on and let's make fun of him.
Oh, I thought it was Jenna Ortega. Tell her her name.
What's up, balls?
What's going on, man? How you doing? We're putting you right in the middle.
Sidney Prescott.
How's it going, Stingray?
Good, man. Good, man. How are you guys doing?
Doing good, man. Good. It's good to see you. How's life?
Good. Good.
How's life behind bars?
Yeah, I was. Long story short, I was repping my set a little too hard, and wound up in the slammer. So.
Ezra Miller throwing a chair at you yet?
Stingray was actually on that pot farm with Ezra Miller and all the little kids, and so
he taught me some grooming skills.
Oh Lord have mercy.
Speaking of Ezra Miller, can you guys watch We Need to Talk About Kevin Never Again after all this?
He nails Psycho pretty well, doesn't he? Didn't have to do much.
It just makes
You're saying he's not really much of an actor. That's just him.
Yeah, that's pretty much just him. Oh no,
he's out of the new, or he's not playing Flash in the new movie apparently.
Yeah, that's a very smart move. They need to distance themselves.
Have they caught the guy yet, or is he still on the run?
I think he's still on the weed farm with the little kids and the guns.
So
he's out of his mind.
They need to just cast this guy to play Diabolique in a Danger Diabolique remake, because that's the only way this guy properly fits into entertainment.
He needs a straitjacket and medication.
Well, we need to be careful. We don't want to mess around with pronouns.
They need a straitjacket.
Yes, let's be very careful here.
Only one person, but it's.
Let's be very careful here. But let's talk about some recent watches, other than, of course, the Black Phone. Have you happened to see the Black Phone, Stingray?
Saw it today.
What were your thoughts?
I actually liked it. I was, I always like Ethan Hawke. He always does a great job. He's very, very menacing in that. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, for what it is, fine film, for a one watch, I think.
What kind of rating would you give it?
B-.
Okay.
My kids liked it. There's some good jump scares in there that got them pretty good.
Let's see. Have you guys seen any other good movies lately?
Well, I saw a great one that I believe IFC Midnight has it, if I'm not mistaken. The Innocents. It's a Norwegian horror film. It's essentially, though, a superhero origin story, I suppose you could call it that. It's fantastic. I wouldn't classify it as an extreme horror film or anything, but it hits pretty hard. The portrayal of this young actress, I might be saying this wrong, but you could be seeing a lot from her in the future. Raquel Lenora Flotum, who plays Ida, the lead character. She's kind of like right on that borderline. She's got these psychopathic tendencies, and you don't know quite which way she's going to go. But it's a group of kids that come together, kind of lonely kids in Norway who come together and discover that they have these magical superpowers. There are things in here that you would never see in an American movie. Lauren, there's a cat that does not fare well, and it's very unpleasant. So you will love it. The relationship between the one older sister character and her mom is, in my opinion, some of the most touching stuff I've seen in a while in the horror genre. This one actually tugs at the heartstrings. It's a special film. It should be on all your radars. I hesitate to call it a superhero origin story. This is not Marvel. This is not DC. The special effects are kind of, limited, but they're cool. What is there, and you should all check it out as soon as humanly possible, because I thought it was stellar. I can't imagine it's not going to be in my top horror movies list for this year.
Very cool. It's definitely on my list. So
yes,
it's on my list.
I look forward to your review. I think you're going to love it.
Yeah. Robert Long's got magical powers because he lives in Kentucky. You're not supposed to tell people that who aren't in Kentucky, Robert. Come on, man. Jeez.
American remake. We'll set it in Kentucky.
I've been to Kentucky. You'd need magical powers.
Yes, you do. Because it's just so beautiful here.
Is that slang for meth up there?
Yes, that's it. That's it. No, not meth isn't the issue here. It's barbiturates is the real issue here.
There you go.
They're a little easier to get than meth. Very cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to checking out The Innocents.
It really is something special, so I hope everybody will give it a watch.
And then, Piz, you need to go back to the 1961 The Innocents.
Yes,
which is
also
literally one of the best horror films ever made. So.
Directed by Jack Clayton.
Okay. Then I'll follow that up by watching John Landis's Innocent Blood.
Oh
no,
which is probably the best of the three.
All the goodwill that I had for Annie Pilat after La Femme Nikita went right into that movie.
Wow. Nobody talks about Innocent Blood anymore.
There's good reason.
Anybody else?
The director spilled a lot of Innocent Blood, so it's kind of hard.
That's true. That's true. We did. That's true.
That's what is it? The highest rated movie on Shudder right now? Mad God by Phil Tippett. Anybody seen that?
No,
I did.
I know. Yeah, Dan's seen it.
Pretty story free, but
yeah, there's like for 30 years. I'm like, you couldn't have jotted down some kind of story. I mean, the visuals are amazing. Although, if you're not into stop motion, but he adds in like live action, stop motion, go motion. There's every trick that he knows, he puts in some really amazing visuals. But there's a story there, but kind of there's like no dialogue. That I remember anyway. Maybe some background dialogue or something, but I don't know. It was visually, though, it's a feast. It's definitely, I would recommend it just to watch it. Although you'll probably have some visuals stuck in your head that you won't appreciate. It's part of watching movies, man. There's some scenes in there that you can't unsee, but the rest of it's still like, what did I just see that? It adds a little layer. Unfortunately, I wish in the 30 years that he was developing it, he would have actually thought, maybe this needs a story. Because it's an hour and a half. And you're just watching like random visuals and trying to figure out how they tell the story because you're not using dialogue or a narrative. It's just this visual leads to this visual leads to this one, and it's like, okay, so what is he trying to say, if anything? It's kind of biblical, I guess. It starts out with like a page from Leviticus, and I don't know if it's again, it's like, why would you do that if there's no story? But I would recommend it be, just for the visuals alone, because it is definitely an artistic masterpiece in some areas. I give it a positive review, but with some hesitation, because it would have been nice for a little context for the visuals, so maybe I could follow along a little better instead of just be like, okay, that's weird. What just came out of where? and how did and what and is that a minotaur? And what are they doing in the? I don't want to know. Yeah, so there's a lot of those kind of moments in the film, so I could recommend it for that. But it's weird and confusing, but still, I'd give it a review, a positive review.
It's more of an art piece than a movie. That's kind of what I would say. But
it's a little long, though. I mean, if you're gonna go for the art piece thing, make it 20 minutes, hour and a half, man. That's a ask. It's like he shot random stuff for 30 years and just kind of edited into what he thought was like, that's good enough. They'll get it.
A lot of Easter eggs there, though.
There's lots of callbacks to all the things he's worked on in his career, which I really enjoyed. Because he was there for like the Rancor Pit in Return of the Jedi, and he did a lot of Star Wars stuff and he created all the go motion stuff for Jurassic Park that ILM went in and redid with CGI, but he did the storyboards for him. The guy's really talented, and he's done a lot of work, and you could definitely see that. But it's just kind of like, after 30 years, this is the thing you wanted to show the world, right? All these other things I did for money, but this is me. This is my dream project, and it's like, okay. It just looks like a bunch of random stuff that you've made over the last 30 years and just kind of edited it together and put it out. But still good. It's on Shudder. If you have Shudder, check it out.
If only he'd licensed some Tool music to play.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's okay, because I had the Tool music playing in my head as I was watching. Why can't we not be sober? Why not?
I do want to get
and Prison Sex would have been an apt title for some scenes.
I do want to give a shout out to an old friend of the show who's here in the chat. Cole is gay. Have a great show tonight and wish you all the best. Good to hear from you, Cole is gay. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. Thank you.
So Mad God is it's like animated, right?
It's stop motion, right? It's
stop motion. Okay.
It's like a Tool video.
Because it's stop motion, but there's also like live action and go motion mix. It's all mixed in together. So there's live action characters kind of in the background that come in and out, but don't really add anything to because there's no narrative. It's just kind of like, oh, that's interesting. He mixed that visual with this visual. I don't know, almost like a demo reel. It's like, I do special effects. What do you do? Here, watch this. Oh, that's amazing. Cool. Yeah. I don't write scripts or stories or make narratives that make sense, but I could do this. That's great. You're hired.
Like put on a Pink Floyd The Wall or something and watch it.
Yeah. And I don't hate stop motion. I've never, although even as a kid watching Harryhausen films, I enjoyed them for what they were. But to me, that's like so obvious that no matter what they do, it doesn't blend. It just, sure, Jason and the Argonauts and stuff like that. And it just, you could tell he's fighting a skeleton that's about 2 inches tall. And they just superimposed it, and he's actually fighting nothing. And it looks silly to me, even as a kid. I'm sorry. As much as we complain about modern day CGI, I got to say, the truth of how I feel about stop motion. It's like sometimes it works, but the longer you hold the shot, the less it works. It's just the way it is. We got hand puppets and we got real actors. It's like, okay, well, can we try to do something to blend that a little better so it's a lot less in your face? So I've always had I grew up watching Reptilicus and all these other films that were, the original King Kong. So it's not like I'm crapping on this stuff, right? But it's just one of the types of effects that have been, easy to spot and kind of takes me out of it a little bit. The older stuff I understand, they didn't have any other ways of doing things. To do transitions in the old black and white films in the 30s, they would paint the person's face red with makeup, and then they would put a filter in front of the camera. And when they wanted to do an in-camera transition, they would just move the filter, and all of a sudden, voila, they've changed. So they went from having to do tricks like that to, to the it's almost like claymation to me. I don't know, armatures with clay on it or whatever, and that stuff's got to be like so annoying to do. It's like move a click, move click. I mean, how much did you get done today? Oh, I got about 1.5 seconds. It was a good day. It was productive.
That's why it took him 30 years.
Yeah, that's why it took him 30 years. But no wonder he did not have time to write a story. There you go. There you go. He was so busy going move, click, move, click, move, click. He just didn't have time to write a story.
Does everyone have like a favorite Harryhausen flick? Because I was obsessed when I was a little kid. I was a big Mysterious Island guy. I love Jason and the Argonauts as well. But I think Mysterious Island was like the first one I saw. And to this day, I love that movie and that concept so much.
I can't say I've got a favorite one.
Beast from 20,000 Fathoms.
Good.
It's not even hard for me. I mean, but
did he work on Clash of the Titans?
He did.
Yeah, that would be one for me.
So there was a big team involved there. So by then in his career, it wasn't quite a one-man show like some of the early stuff. And I mean, listen, he built off of O'Brien's work on Kong. He did not work on Kong, but he built off of what had been achieved there. And I would argue that of all the incarnations of Kong that have existed, the one that emotionally I could connect with is the 33 film. And there is something about it being tactile, and it doesn't matter that you can see the strings, as it were. It feels like a part of the world they built. Whereas if I look like the Jackson movie, I feel nothing for that character whatsoever. I don't care how wide they have its eyes move and it goes ice skating in Central Park, which is ridiculous and stupid. All the like arm wringing stuff doesn't work. Does he look better? Sure, I guess, but I don't care about him, and I do care about him in 33. Even the 78 film, which I think is kind of awful, at least there's something there. I think as we've lost something as the world's gotten less tactile in film. I'm not anti-CGI. It's just a tool that has kind of grown. It's not used in the toolbox where it should be. They just reach for it always. It's the only tool, and it's obnoxious.
I'd love to see it come back with a story. Again, Mad God's just one of those things that's going to have limited appeal because there is no story.
Yeah.
I almost feel like its time has come and gone, and we love it for where it is. I'm not sure it has a place. I would just like to see CGI get to the point whereas you don't look at a scene and go, "Wow, that's a CGI effect," which is what we do. The audience in 1933, they might have known it was a special effect, but they had no idea how Kong was created. It still worked on that level, which it doesn't with its modern effects because we're all computer literate. It just doesn't really work.
Do you think, I mean, in 1933, can you imagine in your head a child going in to see King Kong? And I'm sure it was very similar for Jurassic Park for a lot of people in the chat and on the panel tonight. I don't know this generation if they really have that yet, or if they can. I don't know if there is something that has had that kind of just effect over the entire population.
I don't know if it's available online, but I hope it is. But Forrest J. Ackerman has a wonderful essay about him seeing Kong as a child. And it is probably one of the most moving things you'll ever read. And not because it's about, monster movies, which is hopefully is what everyone in the chat loves. But it's just, it's about a young boy finding his purpose in life by watching a screen. And it's an amazing essay. It was printed like twice in Famous Monsters of Filmland. Monster World in its final issue reprinted it. I'm hoping somewhere it's online. It's great. It's amazing.
I'd say the 70s King Kong was that way for me because I saw it in the theater and I was a young kid, and the effects worked for me. I thought, of course, who was it that did there was a famous effects guy that actually did the effects. Yeah, and he was in the suit and acted out the Kong parts. And I thought he pulled it off to look pretty well. There's always some scenes that don't quite match, and they don't quite match up. But so for me, that's the Kong movie I grew up with. I saw the 33 one on TV, but for me as a little kid, it didn't compare. You know what I mean? It's like Buck Rogers versus Star Wars. Yeah, Buck Rogers is pretty cool, but Star Wars, man. You know what I mean? Because Star Wars was that Jurassic Park for me. That was the movie that blew my mind. But before that, I'd seen Kong, and that was a good one. I mean, I know for whatever reason, Charles Grodin though is amazing in it. There's so many, little parts in there that I still remember from that flick. That I don't know that it hasn't aged well, I guess, with some people, but I still enjoy it for what it is.
No love for King Kong Lives.
Please tell me you like Kong Skull Island.
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed that.
I do. I actually think the MonsterVerse version of Kong is the best since 33. But it's, you know why it is? Because they don't tell the Kong story from 33 again.
Yes.
They realize that going up against it is a fool's errand, which is what the 2 remakes did. Which I guess, it's somewhat generational, but like as a kid, when I saw Star Wars, I was not blown away. I was bored by the original Star Wars the first time I saw it. Now I liked Empire more monsters. That's what it comes down to, I think. But so I think it's based on, I think, what you had as your entertainment before those seminal moments in those seminal films. I can remember, I will never forget the day. Actually, my mom put me in front of a screen to watch Psycho, and then walked away and let me watch. Like, I don't know, 7-year-old Lauren watching Psycho. That changed my life, and there's nothing about that movie that I think is aged at all. At least for me, I mean, it's a film that was set in its time period, and that's when it is. Special effects films are kind of different. I think that everyone finds their comfort level on them. For a lot of people, it was probably the thing, right?
Oh, certainly, yeah. Can you agree with me, Lauren, that Star Crash is a better Star Wars than Star Wars? And not only that,
makes it a better Star Wars film, but that's not exactly that's not a fair bet.
Count Zarth, Joe Spinell would take out Darth Vader in a second.
The original Darth Vader or the soy boy they're pumping now?
Well,
because the soy boy they're pumping now, he couldn't kick his own ass. He's pathetic.
This is true. Star Crash and Battle Beyond the Stars. Let's not forget the great
Battle Beyond the Stars. John Boy in space driving a spaceship with tits. It doesn't get much better than that.
I know.
That should have been what Jim Cameron did for the rest of his career. Make miniatures. That's it.
Disney needs to hire me, and I'll make the titty Death Star, and I'll turn everything around.
It shoots the lasers out of like the nipples.
Exactly. We'll get some good stuff again.
Yeah. Let's make Star Wars great again. Come on.
Oh God.
As far as life-changing films, I'd probably have to say The Exorcist was it for me. Among others, but.
Unfortunately, the first time I saw The Exorcist was cut up on television when I was like 10 years old. And, so I didn't get to see the full thing until later on VHS. But it was still, even that movie was even cut on television, still scared the shit out of me when I was 10 years old. Man, that was it was an experience. I mean, so if your film's strong enough to survive the TV butchers, then you made a good one.
Your mother eats ducks in Hades.
Maybe that's where I got my love for TV edits, because like The Big Lebowski. That's what you get for. Was it Finding Strangers in the Alps or something?
Yeah.
I mean, I love the TV and that and Pulp Fiction. Oh,
and the
great TV.
What is it? Monkey Fighting Melon Farmer.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction came on regular TV. I didn't realize this.
Oh yeah.
Wouldn't it be great that your job is to creatively, do that? Like, that's your job, is to put words in there that kind of sound like what the actors say, but are PC. You know what I mean? You monkey farmer.
Yeah.
That used to be done by the networks or the local affiliates. And that's how it got really creative. Now it's done by the studios. They have like audio tracks that are replacement audio tracks, and they suck now because they're not creative at all. They planned for it, and that's part of the magic of a television cut. I gotta say, I saw The Exorcist originally on television cut as well. I bet we probably watched the same broadcast, Mike. But I remember just never having experienced something that as oppressive as that film. You know, it was just, it was something that felt dangerous, and I felt like I was too young to see it, and that was part of the thrill of it. And it worked for me, even cut. Now, I would never watch it cut again as an adult, but there's no nostalgia for seeing something butchered. But I do think there is something to be said for a lot of us encountering these films on television broadcasts, whereas it was an event. Because if you didn't watch it that night, you had to wait until it was going to be broadcast again. So there was something special about not having the availability of everything at your fingertips that made an experience. You wanted the ride to be great. Unfortunately, sometimes, like we talked about Blum earlier, if we walk into a Blumhouse film, there's a part of you that says, well, this is going to be popcorn, right? This is going to be a soda big enough that I can't hold it all in my stomach. And that's how you're viewing the experience. Whereas like seeing the broadcast premiere of Halloween or The Omen, man, you waited all week for that. You had highlighted it in your TV guide, the free one that came on Sunday in the newspaper, and you were pumped. As opposed to now you go, what's on Netflix? Oh, that. We'll watch that. Which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, the over availability of stuff is really taken away some of the meaning behind some of those films. Because like you said, it came out in the theater. If you didn't see it in the theater, you're gonna have to wait like a year, maybe 2, sometimes 3 to see it on TV. And then it was all chopped up. And if you didn't watch it, you didn't see it again for maybe another 3 years. Yeah, so it made you appreciate things on a different level than you do now, because now everything's throwaway, because everything's disposable, because we got 15 things behind it to replace it. You didn't like that, we'll try this. You don't like that, we'll try that. Yeah, I don't know, but being an older guy, I don't have much more time to waste, so I don't look for time wasters. Time wasters are a waste of time. So if I'm into something and it's like, oh, this is a good time waster, well, since I don't have any time to waste, bye, So it makes me a lot more selective now than I used to be. And the fact that I can watch it anytime, anywhere, kind of takes away some of the urgency. So I don't know. It's for me anyway, having grew up, and if you didn't grow up in that era, you don't know what I'm talking about. But trust me, it was a thing.
Although edited for television, tonight's movie contains scenes of street gang warfare and may be unsuitable for younger viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Well, I think
That's what it was. Yep.
The fun part too about it too was that, I mean, like now we were just talking about Scream earlier, so we know a lot of the stuff about Scream 6 already before it even comes out. Versus then, I mean, I remember just looking in the TV guide and just picking a movie on one of those channels, and I read the description and be like, okay, sounds all right. But you just don't know what's coming. You know what I mean? When you see it, so the idea of all you have is a word, just a little summary, and then you go in fresh, and you don't know what the heck is coming at you. I think that's the one thing this generation doesn't have. I find myself going back to older films, to get that surprise, because anything that's new, I feel like I know what's coming.
Well, it's like, hey, what are we going to watch? Well, what's on? Because that's your options,
Yeah.
Right.
Or you went and you got the blank tape that you recorded Jaws on in SLP mode that you've watched 25 times, and you pop that back in. Or for me, it was Jaws or Halloween. I had on like 10 different blank tapes in SLP mode, just looked awful. And
did you record commercials?
See, I would try to edit out the commercials, like, oh, here comes a commercial, stop. And then, let's try and record real quick when it starts back up, but you'd always miss some stuff or whatever. And so I just screw it. I'll just fast forward through the commercials.
Now I'm like nostalgic for the commercials.
Yeah, now I'd love to go back and watch some of those commercials that I recorded,
Because they used to advertise things that weren't car insurance.
Yeah,
it's true.
Or like a new medicine with a stupid name.
Yeah.
And a big blurb of information that some poor jackass has to read as fast as humanly possible. Can tell you
they cause anal bleeding. They
might do to you.
And everything he says makes you, think that you'd rather have the disease than the medicine.
Yeah, yeah,
Spontaneous human combustion, really?
yeah. This pill will give you an erection, but your heart may explode.
How do you feel
As you,
about
as you experience anal
Well,
leakage.
Yeah,
you had to think
yeah.
about that one.
Right.
Yeah. Well, let's see. I'm awfully horny, but my heart could
Yeah.
explode.
I don't know, easy choice for me. I don't know about you guys.
It's in God's hands now.
But it teaches you what words like privatism means, and that's important because our vocabularies have expanded.
You
Yeah.
gotta go.
Just don't want your family finding your body in that state for sure. It's be a little awkward.
That's right.
Just
Yeah.
play a game of ring toss and
There's
just
the case
try
of
and
Smiley's with Stiffs, the great Sean Cunningham comedy that is set in Miami. If you haven't seen it, don't watch it 'cause it's not great. but It's funny.
Why is there a rope around Daddy's neck and he's naked?
Hey,
Shit,
Carradine now?
he mixed up his Viagra with his
Ooh.
Aleve again.
Wait, isn't that what happened with Kung Fu? What's
Yeah.
my man from Kung Fu?
yes,
And there were
yeah.
pictures of it all over
Oh.
the paper.
Carradine.
And
Carradine.
wherever that country was, like Taiwan or something.
I'm sorry, I didn't
No.
know.
I
I thought that's so
believe-
funny.
Poor
Because,
Carradine.
of course,
Wait, there was like one here and the other one was.
He didn't wax on, but he did whack off, and
Let's not talk about it. Let's check in with our buddy Garrett, who's actually in the chat right now, and see what he's got for us in this week's edition of the Rad Report.
Rad Report. Rad Report. Rad Report.
What's up, everybody? Garrett back here, interrupting your regularly scheduled program to bring in a newest edition of the Rad Report. I go through all the physical media news and new releases of the next coming weeks. All right, so let's start with some new releases that I think you should keep your eye out for. And the first one is a big one. It's Arrow Video released 4K of True Romance. Now, they have multiple editions, and this is the deluxe limited steelbook set. They have a regular set as well, a limited edition, which just doesn't come with a steelbook, different artwork, and they also have just the steelbook available in 4K. All right, Firestarter Remake hit stores this week. I had no idea that was even coming out. I saw it the day it came out on Peacock, and I don't recommend it at all. I'm a big fan of the original one, and I just could not get into this remake. Is it just me? Let me know your thoughts on that movie. Kino has some new 4Ks being released, that George Clooney flick Out of Sight and Stanley Kubrick's Killer Kiss. Now, I've personally never seen either of those two, so let me know your thoughts on them as well. And Mardi Gras Massacre comes out from Severin Video, another one I've never seen. It's been in my Amazon cart for many, many years from DVD days, and I just never picked it up. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that before I pull the trigger. Everything Everywhere All at Once hits 4K and Blu-ray next week, and that is one I am going to pick up right away. I actually have not seen it yet. I was super hyped for it, but just could not get to the theater, so I'm super excited to see this one when it hits physical media because I've heard nothing but great things. So Kino has 3 movies coming out on Blu-ray, these more like killer animals, actually killer bugs. You've got ants coming to Blu-ray, you've got tarantulas, and you also have Terror Out of the Sky, which involves bees. So they are releasing all those. I believe I have them, at least tarantulas and ants I know I have on DVD, but as far as the other one, I'm not sure. But those are coming out next week as well. So the last thing I want to mention is Baby Oopsie from Full Moon is coming out on Blu-ray. Now, I've never seen this, but I am a fan of Demonic Toys, the original one. And I know this is the spin-off with Baby Oopsie Daisy from that movie. I'm a little bit intrigued, but I'm a little bit nervous at the same time. All right, so on to the news. So speaking of Full Moon, they're actually going to have their 40% off sale for the 4th of July. That starts today. I'm interested in this. I definitely missed out on that Toulon box last time, and I kind of kicked myself for it. I definitely want to try to score that at a good price, so I'm going to keep my eye out on that. Kino sale, I believe, is still running. I did a big order from them, and again, with Kino, it's great because you order like 10 titles and it's not even $100 sometimes, and you know that's just a huge score when it comes to physical media nowadays. So I'm not sure how long it's going to last, but if you guys haven't checked it out, I would check it out soon because I think it's only lasting a little longer. All right, there's a lot of new release news coming. I'm going to try to skim through really quick on the ones I think you should keep your eye out for that are going to be hitting Blu-ray and 4K in the near future. Repossessed is hitting Blu-ray from, I think it's going to be a Vestron title. So again, Linda Blair's in that. It's a little more of a parody, but definitely one I haven't seen in quite a while. Some mainstream titles, The Lost Boys, which I'm super excited for, is still rumored to be coming out very shortly on 4K, and I'm actually really excited about it, but we haven't seen exactly what's going to look like or what's going to be on it. But man, the Blu-ray of Lost Boys still holds up as one of my favorite looking Blu-rays, so this 4K should look nothing but the best. Bram Stoker's Dracula is getting a Steelbook 4K treatment. Poltergeist is coming out as well on 4K, and they just announced Real Genius, I believe from Sony, that's going to be coming out in 4K as well. One I'm really looking forward to is Synapse just announced the Blu-ray of Satan's Little Helper. That's a DVD I've had for quite a long time, and it's actually one I really enjoyed. So kind of a weird title for Synapse to get, but I'm totally down for that, and the artwork looks fantastic. Another one which I have on DVD and Blu-ray just got announced to 4K, and I'm really interested to see how this looks. It's Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. Just got announced from VCI that it is going to get a 4K treatment very soon. Raw Deal is getting a 4K Steelbook from Studio Canal. Very underrated Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. I know Addams Family was also announced for a 4K Steelbook. I'm probably going to pass on it. Love the movie, but I have a Blu-ray double pack, and I think I'm just fine with that. All the Star Trek movies just got announced in 4K. I saw the artwork, man. I'm so happy they are using those original artworks. I wasn't a huge Star Trek fan, but the movies I actually enjoy. So I may look into picking some of those up. And the last couple announced with Fatal Attraction is coming out from Paramount on 4K. And Indecent Proposal is getting a 4K treatment from Kino. All right, guys, those are just a couple things that I think you guys should keep your eyes out for when it comes to the physical media game. So let me know which ones you guys are excited about. And this is Garrett at Born to Be Rad, and now get back to the rest of Region Free.
All right. Thank you, Garrett, for another edition of the Rad Report. A lot of physical media coming out. Did any of those titles
Did
grab
he say
any of you
Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things is going to be 4K?
4K.
Wasn't it shot like on 16 millimeter?
Shot on Super 16. This is
what's the point? I'm sorry. I mean, I didn't mean to be,
if you want
Debbie
your
Downer
great
here,
art-
but what? I scratch my head sometimes when I hear titles released in 4K, and I'm just like, why? Like Real Genius. Who the hell needs to see that in 4K? DVD's fine. It's a great movie. I love it. It's funny. But 4K? Hey, get the DVD. What the hell? Stop wasting your damn money on these things. I'm sorry. I love physical media, but some of these titles just make me scratch my head. It's like 4K for that? I think it charges like $50 for a movie that should be like $5 on DVD. Okay.
Well, I mean,
I hope somebody else enjoys it because I'm not going to.
Well,
I mean, they're releasing Raw Deal. I mean, I think Raw Deal is like one of the worst early Schwarzenegger movies. I think. I mean, Raw Deal is not really that great. I don't think.
cocaine.
It doesn't really need a 4K either.
Right. I mean, the ending is badass, but everything before it is kind of like, eh.
There's got to be other films. I don't know if they just cost too much to acquire or what, but there's got to be other more deserving films than some of the ones they come up with. That's all I'm saying.
True Lies. Can he just finish his stupid Avatar series and get the True Lies Blu-ray out? I mean, my God.
Why?
Yes.
I like True Lies. You're not a True Lies fan.
The Abyss has an interesting problem, which is that the effects were rendered under high def standards, so they had to actually redo them if they want to have an UHD release.
The problem with the Abyss is it sucks.
Yeah, that too. That ending completely doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I've never been a big Abyss guy. I can live without that. But didn't he already finish it? I heard that. I thought the effects were. I think he already did all that, but it's just. I don't know. I swear I heard him say in an interview like a few years ago.
5 screensaver.
But I don't know. Just give us True Lies, guys. Come on. At least that.
Don't need that either.
That middle section, is that the reason people just don't hate on True Lies so much? That whole middle section with Jamie Lee Curtis and the interrogation.
All anyone ever talks about, so
because nobody talks about anything else but that.
They blow up a bridge with a missile at some point. That's the only other thing I remember of that film.
Bill Paxton.
That felt like it was out of the Three's Company, whereas his wife doesn't know he's a spy. Like late sitcom shit.
Yeah, but it's one of the only films where I can actually enjoy Tom Arnold.
Yeah.
Well,
that's true.
You know what I mean? His performance and just the dumb shit he says. And I mean, you got Paxton in there as that guy pretending to be a spy. I mean,
I was going to say, don't forget Paxton.
Some of the movie is I do like that movie. Some of it's stupid, but some of it holds up for me. I enjoy it.
Come on, Paxton's lines in the car to Arnold Schwarzenegger. Me and my cousin still quote that to this day, which we can't say here on YouTube. But come on, Paxton.
Oh man, Paxton.
Well, I know Piz still believes. So,
there's
one title he's looking forward to.
Oh, you're goddamn right. Yeah, I want to see the oil glistening off those pecs in 4K, man. Oh man, whew, Jesus Christ!
The origin of the sparkly vampire.
And I did pick up the True Romance 4K. And you guys were talking about seminal movies. This is a seminal movie for me. So, just love everything about it, and just such a great freaking movie.
Flick, but 4K does it really benefit?
Blu-ray. I'm fine with it.
Is it that much better than the Blu-ray? I mean,
one word: Drexel in 4K. Yes, the answer is yes.
with the reds and the blues in the background. Come on, to this day, man. When I think of True Romance, you love everybody in that movie, man. But Gary Oldman, man, it's just his run of villain performances from that time were just extraordinary.
I mean, Dennis Hopper, Chris Walken, Bronson Pinchot, man, it's
such a cast.
All-star cast. Yeah,
Chris Pitt, Tom Sizemore,
the Tony Soprano, whatever his name is,
Gandolfini. Yeah,
that beating. That's a rough scene.
Such a good movie.
Might be the best Brad Pitt performance too.
He just smokes weed on the couch, right? That's all he does.
They were here, and then they went there. Do you want to come in and smoke a bowl? That's pretty much it.
You want me to pop my top off? That's all I'm good for right now.
How do you know they went to the motel? Well, they were here, and then they went there.
He's like right up around the corner up the street there. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And then, I mean, is it White Boy Day?
Oh.
So, somebody say it's White Boy Day? It's not White Boy Day.
I think my line is, what is it? Where I think he's the Mac that he's watching on TV.
Yeah.
He goes, man, over that TV, man, the breasts is hanging out, man. Didn't even bother to look.
Just clocking me.
Yeah.
So if you sit down and just start eating an egg roll, let's say this motherfucker ain't got a care in the world. Maybe he don't.
Right.
Maybe he's like Charlie Bronson, Mr. Majestic.
Yeah.
Oh, it's such a good movie. Oh God,
I'm about to watch that tonight. That's a good one.
He said he recorded some dudes off the street. He said he was in the trailer doing some other movie, and he was like, I saw these black guys, and I recorded them, and I was just speaking with them, and then I kind of talking like that. I'm like, wow.
He's like, I asked him if he'd come into my trailer and if I could record his voice. Could you imagine that guy was like, this British guy wants me to come into his trailer so he can record my voice? He's probably like, oh man. But yeah, that's how he got it. Yeah, that's how he got the voice. He just recorded that dude talking, and that became Drexel.
Come on in for tea.
And it's absolutely convincing. It's totally convincing.
Best character actor, hands down.
So good. So good. Anywho, are there any other movies you guys have recently seen you want to mention? Good, bad, or indifferent?
I saw Maverick today.
Oh. Come on,
Steve. All right, gentlemen, start your engines. Okay, as these wonderful stages of cinema that I participate with here on Region Free are well aware, I served in the United States Navy for 8 years. I joined in 1997, and I was stationed in Sasebo, Japan for 3 years on the USS Fort McHenry, and then I served 3 years in the United Kingdom. I worked with the Royal Air Force in a bunker looking for submarines in the English Channel and the Atlantic Ocean. And I also served a couple of years in Norfolk, Virginia. I did not grow up with Top Gun in my VHS collection. It was just not a film that I went back to on a regular basis. I think I saw it on television, and I finally discovered what it was. Luckily, by that time, it wasn't a film that worked for me, and I'll explain later. I mean, and with my Navy experience, I hate to say it, but I do think the original Top Gun is really not much more than the most expensive Navy commercial ever made. As many people know, it increased in recruitment by like 600%. And Tony Scott, I'm willing to let go because he was just basically a director for hire for that. And look, I mean, he did a good job with what he was given, but I don't like Tom Cruise in it. I don't like his smile. I don't like the love story. I don't like the music. Well, the music is okay. I mean, some of the songs. I mean, I don't like the karaoke stuff in the bar. And on top of all that, it's just, it's just, I can't get behind it as any kind of, as a piece of entertainment or as a piece of propaganda. I just can't do it. It's a film that got 100% support from the Pentagon. And with all those films, I always tend to question if this is really propaganda or not. And Top Gun, look, if you're a fan of Top Gun, bless your heart. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, it was a huge hit in 1986, and I have to live with the fact that it became a hit largely because of Tom Cruise's smile and Diet Pepsi. So, I never thought in a million years in 2022 I would be in a theater watching Top Gun Maverick, of all things. This was the last film in the world I ever wanted to see, especially in the theater. And here again, that largely comes from my personal feelings about the original 1986 film. I was finally convinced by some lovely colleagues on this panel and some other colleagues elsewhere. And I thought, okay, I'll just go in, I'll sit down, relax, just enjoy it for what it is. And I have to say I was very, very surprised by it. The character relationships were paid a lot more attention to. And what I appreciated about this movie more than anything, because I hated the dog fights in the first film. I thought they looked like a bad 80s video game. I must admit I was thrilled to be watching these characters as they zoomed around and directed themselves in these cockpits. For some reason, it worked for me. I don't know what it was, because I had every reason in the world not to like this movie, and everything about it pretty much worked. I like the cast. I like seeing Val Kilmer again. I mean, here again, not a fan of the first film, but it's not like I disliked Val Kilmer as Iceman. I mean, there were certain things about it I'm okay with. But one thing I need to mention, one thing that needs to be mentioned which actually raised my eyebrows, the very first frame of the movie, literally the very first frame, is the logo for Don Simpson, Jerry Bruckheimer Productions. That raised my eyebrows because, as most of us are aware, of course, Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer were a powerhouse producing team in the 1980s and 1990s. Don Simpson actually passed away in 1996, I believe, and the last film that they produced together was The Rock. But the film that made them big was Flashdance, and then, of course, came Top Gun, and then they became kings of Hollywood at that point. They were basically unstoppable at that point. That raised my eyebrow because of the fact that I thought, okay, I like how that's a nice tribute to Jerry Bruckheimer's partner. And like I said, even in the credits, it says a Don Simpson, Jerry Bruckheimer production. Don Simpson hasn't been with us since 1996, so I was shocked to see that credit. I mean, I understand and I appreciated that. Let me tell you something about Don Simpson. Don Simpson was at Paramount Pictures in 1982 when he produced and championed a masterpiece of a movie called An Officer and a Gentleman, directed by Taylor Hackford and written by Douglas Day Stewart, who was an actual Navy officer in the 1960s. This movie was rejected by studios for 8 years. When it finally came out in 1982, it was the number 3 box office film of the year, and it won 2 Oscars, including one for Louis Gossett Jr. for Best Supporting Actor as a Marine who trains Richard Gere to be an officer and a gentleman. I consider the film a masterpiece, and the Navy, the Pentagon did not support the making of An Officer and Gentleman because it showcased, sailors banging hookers in the Philippines and drinking and carousing with women and everything. It was just, if there's one thing the military doesn't like, is embarrassment. Now, I am convinced, and this is just me, that Top Gun would not exist if it wasn't for An Officer and Gentleman, because there's too many parallels. Both lead characters ride motorcycles. The best friend dies in both movies. I mean, Richard Gere wanted to fly jets. That was his mission in that movie. To me, Top Gun is the Happy Meal version. And the biggest thing of all is An Officer and a Gentleman nearly got an X rating because the MPAA was intimidated by Deborah Winger's hips grinding down on Richard Gere's cock. Top Gun, when it was sneak previewed, the audience complained that there was no love scene between Tom Cruise and Kelly McGillis. So they called them back 6 months later when Kelly McGillis had a completely different hair color, and they actually shot the most awkward love scene in the history of movies. And partly obscured by the fact that they put that song over it, Take My Breath Away. All that being said, I'm done talking about An Officer and a Gentleman. I'm done. Maverick is in a completely different league. And to be perfectly honest, it worked for me in terms of the character relationships, in terms of the execution of the training, in terms of how it respected the American military. I mean, in the credits, it actually gives credit to every service member who helped make the movie. I mean, with their ranks and everything. It's terrific. I mean, it's absolutely terrific. But best of all, unlike the original, this movie didn't feel political to me. It did not feel like propaganda, and it did not feel like a commercial. That's the most stunning thing of all. I mean, regardless, it's amazing how just, maybe certain events could change or certain times could change. Look, I mean, I'm not the biggest Tom Cruise fan. I still think that he is a brilliant movie star. He's only given a few performances that I absolutely adore, including Born on the 4th of July, which I will be doing an audio commentary on my channel on July 4th. He's amazing in that. I walked away from this film with a new respect for Tom Cruise. The Scientology thing still bugs me. But, I mean, look, the way he delivers this movie it did blow me away. It blew me away in terms of the story. It blew me away in terms of these characters and their relationships and how flawed they were. And it just, I was honestly very, very surprised by Top Gun Maverick. I give it an A-. I do recommend anybody who hasn't seen it yet, go out and see it. Here again, I was the last person on earth who wanted to see this movie. I wanted to see The Black Phone today. And I probably would have seen the Black Phone today, but I was finally pushed into seeing this, and I'm glad I did. So thumbs up for me on Top Gun Maverick. And if any of you guys have Hulu, I wanted to recommend just 2 shows real quick. The briefest of recommendations. On Hulu, I have been watching the Orville New Horizons. And let me tell you that the second episode caused quite a stir online, because it's a pretty horrific episode that channels David Cronenberg, particularly when it comes to like The Fly. I mean, Seth MacFarlane is going into some dark galaxies with this show. And like I said, it doesn't have a lot of the comedy of the Fox seasons. And the other show I wanted to recommend was Only Murders in the Building, with Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez, who I never liked before, and now I'm in love with her because of this show, Only Murders in the Building, where they do a podcast in a New York building that just happens to have a murder every once in a while, and they just, kind of have to figure it out, So, thank you for listening.
No, thank you for that. Very in-depth review of Maverick. I've really only heard great things about it, so I'll end up seeing it when it hits VOD. But
I don't know, Stone. I think there was one person that was probably less interested in seeing this movie, and that would be me. Because I hate the first movie. It's a waste of time. I've never been a huge Tom Cruise fan. There's really, sure, I've heard good things. Hey, great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm sure it's great to you. But there's just nothing there for me. I don't know what it is. There's a disconnect that I can't get over. Maybe I'm missing out. Maybe it is as great as everybody says, and maybe I'll get curious sometime and check it out if it's on a streaming service. But I think the only reason to see it in the theater is the way it's been explained to me with the flying scenes.
Yeah.
That some movies you have to see in the theater because they don't translate well to small screens. Maybe that would be a good reason to run out and see it, but I don't know. It's just I just can't stand the original film, and there's nothing about it that I enjoy. It's the bar karaoke scene it makes me want to put my foot through the television screen.
It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit.
So,
it was the 80s. It was the 80s.
That's so good is it takes all that stuff that deserves your criticism and reframes all of it inside the new film brilliantly. I'm telling you, if I had to give a letter grade to the original Top Gun, it would be a D-. This movie I gave a straight A to. That's a big divide, and I am not the key market. Now, Mike, you probably shouldn't watch it, to be honest with you. When you set yourself against something that hardcore, I don't see it ending well. So, cool. But no, it's not the only reason to see it in the theater. It's legitimately, I hate to say this, go back a year and you would not hear me say this, but it's a legitimately great film. That's why you see it in the theater, not because of any. In fact, I will say this, and I've said it before. The airplane sequences in this film only work not because of how it's shot, because you care about the characters so deeply. And every action scene, actually, what's happening in the scene correlates to the personal, the relationships of the characters. It's outstandingly well written, and that's shocking for a summer blockbuster pre-programmed nostalgia play. But whatever. I mean, again, I don't think you should probably go out and see it. Stumble across it sometime with an open mind, that'd be great. But
another huge disconnect. Why did they wait so long? 86 was when the first one came out, right?
This only works because they did.
I turned 18 in 86. I'm going to be 54 this year. I think it's a bit long, man. I mean, maybe 2002, maybe 2012, 2022. Really?
It's why it works. I've
said this before, but if we're going to say that this is the best film of 2022, what does that mean about 2022? That the best film of 2022 is a sequel to a movie from 1986? Have we officially run out of anything? I don't know. It's just I enjoy it. It's
Listen,
all yours.
wouldn't find someone more surprised to be singing the praises of a Top Gun movie than, again, I have no connection to that. Top Gun.
Well, you're right. I mean, it's probably as good as you say it is, but there's nothing I can do to make myself care.
Well, then,
and that's my disconnect. So I'll take it as on me. That's on me.
We all have those films. You know, if Jim Cameron signs up for another Aliens movie, how do you think I'm going to react? Okay. Clearly, I'm not going to see that. And every one of you can come back and say, oh, it was everything it should have been. It was perfect. It was an improvement on his previous work. And I'm still not going near it. And that's whatever. You know, all I can say is that I was genuinely shocked by the fact that this feels like a real movie, which is not something you just don't feel like you're watching a real movie 99% of the time you're in the theater. This feels like a real movie. The characters are really well defined. The action has a point. And when it gets down to its big, quote, dumb action scene, you care.
Yep.
And that's shocking to me because I couldn't tell you 6 things about the original anymore. I saw it once. And I hated it. And that's the other thing that's smart about this movie is that it doesn't recap so much as it recontextualizes. The karaoke scene is now turned into a piano scene that has an entire different emotional impact. And it's shocking how smart it is. Again, and I really dislike one of the screenplay writers a whole lot. So
I just want to throw this out there. I think all of this bashing of the original Top Gun is just unpatriotic. And I don't know. Yeah.
You can ride my tail anytime.
To the danger zone.
Danger zone.
Oh, goodness gracious. And also, I mean, isn't Maverick like the biggest box office hit of this year so far? I mean, it hasn't it?
It is, and it also last weekend returned to the #1 position in its 5th week of release, a week after a Jurassic Park movie came out.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Did any of you guys see that?
Yeah.
Jurassic Park movie?
My best friend
I actually
told
kind of
me
liked it. I mean, I didn't think it was terrible. I mean, I heard a lot of people talk crap about it, and
it's
kind of
in that
low
series.
expectations.
Come on.
It's a lot better than the second Jurassic World, right?
Or the second Jurassic Park movie.
Of course,
I mean,
yeah.
it's better than. That's the whole thing about that series that bothers me is that if you take the first film to put it to the side, that original trilogy is not as good as the second trilogy, and that's painful to say. But those second and third films are just painfully bad.
But
Spielberg did part 2, right?
Yeah.
Do people hate the movie, or do they hate it because of Chris Pratt?
I think that they had their knives out for a whole lot of reasons before they watched a frame of the film. Because it's honestly, it's not. Top Gun is a way better film than Jurassic Park Dominion, but Jesus Christ, I mean, you're watching the 6th film about dinosaurs chasing people?
Well, it's kind of like what I said about, like the Leatherface, the new film, and Scream 5. Like, come on, we're talking about like so deep in a series with crappy sequels, like, what do you expect, really,
Right. Right.
Yeah, I'd still say I think that those 2 examples stumble a lot harder than Dominion did. Dominion, to me, at least they didn't tell the same story exactly as the previous films. There's kind of a James Bond-esque, like, globe-trotting adventure going on, which you certainly didn't get in any of the other films. I don't know. I think they found a way to make it a global threat that felt legitimate and smart. I think there's a lot of good things about it. It's still a crap summer entertainment film, but I didn't hate it.
What would you guys want to do? Let's say that was a real thing. Like, dinosaurs were out, escaped, living among us. You think they should all be eradicated, or should we like put them in a
Fuck no, that's new
place
meat
somewhere?
source. You can have a new McDonald's menu item that day. Like,
You got the real McRib.
Yeah, Stegosaurus burger.
Well, I know one thing. I think one of the reasons that the Jurassic sequels failed is just because, the original one, the first Jurassic Park, that bar was set so high, and the other part about it too, in that original movie, the dinosaurs are actually scary. Like, genuinely, I felt terrified in the original Jurassic Park. I mean, they didn't have scenes where the dinosaurs felt scary, like the raptors chasing the kids in the kitchen, and you see the reflection of the girl, and that was just. Or what's the thing that spits on the guy?
Yeah.
Oh, do you guys remember that in the theater?
Dilophosaurus, I believe.
Yeah, when that thing just God, my heart.
The scariest part of it to me was when Sam Neill explained to that kid, like he's holding that big claw. He's like, well, they got you. And then like later on in the film, you see, oh, well, that's the same creature chasing after all these people. And you know that if it gets you, you're getting gutted. So, I mean, that's that was
watched
like,
that movie
stuck with me with that movie.
I watched that movie about 6 months ago, and it holds up like crazy, man. It is still such a fan. I mean, next to Jaws, I mean, Spielberg's done a lot of great stuff, but
they need to go back and redo those computer screens when the blackout occurs. Besides that, the movie is perfectly just as good as it ever was.
Did you like how there was a fat dude, a play on Newman and Wayne Knight?
Well, this, what the weird thing too is, like, Dominion kind of is a direct sequel to the original film in a lot of ways. Like, you need the characters and you need the events of the sequels, but tonally and the story it tells, it's completely a sequel to the original film.
See, I didn't know anything about it, and I was like, "Oh shit, there's Sam Neill, there's Laura Dern, then Jeff Goldblum comes in." It's awesome.
I know, and that made me. I don't have as much of a problem with the Jurassic Park films as some people do. I actually like the series, but when I saw those three principals on the poster, here we go again, bringing back legacy characters to try to sell a sequel. I couldn't help but have that kind of thought process at first. As much as I like those characters, if you have to bring back characters from a 30-year-old movie to make your movie sell tickets, it's like, really? I mean,
you did a smart thing then, scaling the action to those characters where they are in life and leaving the new cast to do the big, the big Fast and Furious type stuff. So, I mean, they used them well, I thought, and I thought the performers were actually into it. It didn't feel like they were signing in. Like that last Scream movie, man, I felt like everyone signed on for the money, and it felt like it. This doesn't feel like that.
How has Corman not gotten a new Carnosaur movie out there?
I'm down for that.
It's been a long time since 3, and those movies were video store smash hits. So I want Carnosaur 4. Just
forgot about Carnosaur.
And even Spielberg was a mark for Carnosaur.
Yeah,
I mean, Siskel.
I remember it took a while to rent it because that tape was gone. Like, it took a while to get a hold of it. People were going nuts for Carnosaur. So
Carnosaur mania.
Yeah.
It was like Siskel and Ebert. Siskel would always tease Ebert about Cop and a Half. He'd like, "Oh yeah, well you're the one that gave Carnosaur a positive review." Oh, I like that movie. I love when they used to bash each other with that, with their love of crap cinema.
Yeah, the stick kind of came out of their asses a little bit into the 90s. I think a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, somebody in the chat a little while ago mentioned Maverick, and they also mentioned Mutilator 2. Are there, and they said, they asked if there's any other movies from the 80s that would benefit from a sequel now. Can you think of any?
No.
Oh, God.
Solar Babies.
No. Talking 40 years ago, man. Come on.
I'll take Jamie Gertz back.
Hey, Nighthawks with Stallone and Billy D. Williams back together again. I'd be down for that.
Yeah. You're gonna find a villain better than Rutger Hauer. I mean, usually, what was the old thing about remakes? Is if you see a movie that you can improve on, then remake it.
Yeah,
right. So why are we remaking movies that don't need to be remade? I mean,
you only remake
Nighthawks
movies.
Is perfect is what it is. It's just Rutger Hauer. You got Stallone. You got Billy D. Williams. You can't remake that. You can't bring that back. You could, but it wouldn't be good. So if you can't improve on it, if you're just going to make a movie that's worse than the original when you're remaking it, then what's the point? Yeah. Obviously, it's a cash grab. So,
what about a Cobra sequel with an aging Cobretti? He's about to retire, and then all of a sudden, here's all these ritualistic murders, just like back in the day, and he's like,
"Chink chink."
Exactly.
No.
He cuts off that little wedge of pizza and he goes, I'm coming out of retirement.
Well, the scissors, right?
Yeah. He's still got his glasses
Who the
on,
hell
the
eats food with
toothpick
scissors?
in, you know.
I want Under Siege 3 with Fat Seagal.
Oh,
I just want Fat Seagal. They can just put him in like a wheelchair or something. He gets hurt in some mission. He doesn't have to do anything but just throw people through glass for 90 minutes.
He's got to be close to losing a leg at some point, right? So,
Pretty close. He's going to be replacing Wilford Brimley in the diabetes commercials any day now.
he's falling so far, man.
Would you be down for a Teen Wolf reboot with Scott and Booth married, and their son is playing basketball?
Nope. You had the TV show on MTV. I don't know.
I think that was totally different. I think it was like a
It was completely
young
different,
adult thing.
Yeah, it was like Teen Wolf in name only.
Yeah, I don't.
Unfortunately, man.
This is like,
What about the Last Starfighter? There was talk of the Last Starfighter being.
Yeah,
I'd heard that.
I can kind of see that. Like it'd be like a streaming movie, though. I don't know that I'd see it going to theaters.
The Monster Squad, but they're now all adults. But the portal opens again. Out comes Dracula. Out comes Frankenstein. All the monsters. They're adults. They've got kids. They're kids. Now fight the monsters.
Fred Decker directs. I'm down.
Oh,
there we go.
Shane Black co-writing.
How about we just do something new?
Yeah.
No.
That would be new. That would be new.
Yeah, that would be just as new as every other film that does that. No. No.
You know, they're doing the same thing with TV series. Like I saw the other day, they're doing a reboot of Martin, of all things.
Oh.
It's like, I mean,
But it's gonna be a combination of the sitcom and the Romero film, so it'll be fine.
well, I would watch that.
and they're bringing back Weeds with Mary
the thing
Louise
is,
Parker.
I'm so tired of things that are so obviously like where the marketing made the movie. Who are we selling this to? Well, men in their 50s.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, come on, stop. I'm capable of liking things besides what you think I'm capable of liking. But they keep trying to make films that they think are a slam dunk for me, and it keeps failing.
They don't seem to understand that half of what makes those movies special was the era in which they were released, and you cannot recreate that. You can recreate the film, but you cannot recreate the time period in which the film was created and released. And I've already seen that. So I don't want to go back. I don't. Why make a sequel to a 40-year-old movie? It just seems stupid to me. I don't know. That's just me. Maybe I'm just old and cranky.
Same reason we will make a superhero film about a superhero that even superhero geeks don't recognize, and they have to look up on Wikipedia. It's just that instant marketability is all Hollywood cares about. That's it. I mean, mainstream Hollywood. That's all they care about. You know? I mean, honestly, guys, it's like there comes a day when we all have to grow up as adults and leave our childhood where it was. And that's okay. There's new stuff that's cool. I promise you.
I've been screaming that at the rooftops for decades, man. Like, hell yeah.
It's important to highlight the new, but I do want to see a Fat Seagal have a fight scene at the ship's buffet over the last chicken wing.
No, that would be.
I need that.
Film. That can be that. You can call it that. That's the title of your movie.
He's just going back on the boat, but it's like a Carnival cruise line that gets like taken over by Nicolas Cage and a bunch of terrorists.
Oh hell yeah!
Seagal as an aging Elvis works better for me. So
the very end, it would work.
Yeah. Could you imagine
see the Elvis movie?
I will never see the Elvis movie.
Who wants that? Who the hell is that for?
I mean,
there's one Elvis movie. John Carpenter directed it. Yeah. That's all we need.
There's two. There's two Elvis movies.
There's only one for me.
Bubba Hotep. Don't forget Bubba Hotep.
Bubba Hotep. Yeah. Now that would be a sequel with Seagal that might be interesting.
They missed the boat on that, and they should have done a sequel to that.
Replace Bruce Campbell with Steven Seagal. That might be interesting.
Or they're gonna call it Bubba.
Nosferatu.
Yeah, that would have been awesome, man.
Bubba Buffet.
But Campbell dropped out of it, and it just lost all steam. There was a few attempts to resurrect it, and
that sucks.
Bubba Hotep's a great flick, but I don't consider it an Elvis movie, though. An Elvis movie is like a biopic, is what I was talking about.
Yeah.
And Kurt Russell and John Carpenter. Yeah, that's a team right there.
Does that guy in the new Elvis movie look weird to you guys?
looks like he's made of wax, right?
Yeah.
Without his makeup, he looks a little. I was like, he looks like a Ken doll. Like what he looks like. It's like what he looks like.
And Tom Hanks, man, with that, I know it's like apparently he's from another country or something, but his accent is weird.
It is.
I think the Colonel was from Holland or something like that.
Okay, yeah,
Dutch. I think that's what it was.
And he's one of those actors that it's hard for me to overcome. He's a big no.
And I mean, are they gonna? Because I mean, Colonel Tom Parker wasn't a nice guy. So I mean, are they gonna be for? Are they gonna accurately predict Colonel Tom Parker? You know,
probably not.
Yeah, because I mean, he wasn't a nice guy.
He's like the Don King of the music industry, right?
Yeah. I mean, he ripped Elvis off out of. Yeah,
Elvis was his Mike Tyson. Yeah.
Yeah.
He totally destroyed that guy's career and stole money from him. It was horrible.
Yeah.
It kind of seems from the previews that they've really softened Elvis, is what it looks like. Because I saw some part in the previews where he's looking sad on a chair, and then they say something like Martin Luther King was assassinated, and there's like he looks real sad, and I was like, okay, I call a little bit of BS on that. I mean, I don't know if that's the way it flows in the movie, but I was just kind of like, nah, there's.
I think didn't they have like the Kennedy assassination in there too, and like it's basically just like a series of events there.
Yeah, they had both of them, but I know one trailer I saw. It was, I think the King reference came first, and I was kind of like,
maybe it was Robert Kennedy.
If they're not gonna be true about it, then you know.
Yeah. I don't know. Now watching Seagal as Elvis on the toilet in those final moments. That would be
that's Oscar material right there.
I think the airport series needs to come back, and my concept is you turn it into a Leonard Skinner biopic at the same time. That's a film we need.
I just hope he found enlightenment before he keeled over on the pot.
Or at least one last peanut butter and banana sandwich.
Oh man,
I was hoping he'll do it to you.
Does he pick Priscilla up from the school in that movie? At any point?
Wasn't Elvis like a piece of shit around that period of time? Like,
he was flawed for sure.
I'm sure they'll gloss over all that.
It's a Baz Luhrmann film. Do you think it's going to be deep?
Baz Luhrmann. God, when's the last time you heard his name?
Romeo and Juliet.
It's been a while. Yeah,
a while back.
Oz, right? He made a film about Australia.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman and your favorite actress of all
Nicole
time.
Kidman.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Days of Thunder.
I thought she was good in The Northman. I don't care what Lawrence.
She's bad in The Northman. She's awful.
I finally saw that, by the way.
You watch that thing. She's bad. She's
I
acting
don't
like
mind her.
Shakespearean sonnet. She's like the rest of the actors are like making it real, like the Viking world feel real, and she's like, ah. You know,
I don't mind her. I didn't mind her in that.
Rewatch it. She's bad.
I have. I've seen it twice. I didn't mind
We
her.
weren't watching clearly. Were you watching sober either of those times?
Well, I mean, look. I like Nicole Kidman. All right.
Well,
I think she's a sexy lady.
Kentucky.
Oh,
so
speaking of sexy ladies, breaking news: Cameron Diaz, after a 12-year absence, will be returning to cinema.
Thank God.
Charlie's Angels. Come on, Charlie's Angels.
And the world said, why?
Because it's Cameron Diaz. We need Cam. This is the time we need Cameron Diaz the most.
Cameron Diaz.
All right.
Didn't she do Sex Tape? Has that been like 12 years?
That killed her career.
Did she do that movie?
Yeah, she got naked in it.
She was in that. Oh, I didn't even remember that. Jeez.
She was also in the Annie remake with Jamie Foxx. Remember that?
Oh,
she won
that thing
Razzie
doesn't
for that.
Oh God.
Well, we did get another Charlie's Angels, Jay. It just
Oh, I'm aware.
That was out for like
really
a day,
that
wasn't
bad?
it?
The one with Kristen Stewart?
I'd forgot it existed, but is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we call it before we wrap things up?
Well,
Yeah,
I'll go for it, Lauren. Yours is better.
I'm not sure it is. I'm sure no one cares. I was having a conversation recently about how we over fetishize directors for what they actually do in films, because it's badly misunderstood. A director's role is so vast that he tends to get credit for everything when his actual hands-on is not really that. And so I wanted to just point out one person who I think in the 1990s kind of redefined cinema and is not a household name. Darius Kanji was an Iranian-born cinematographer, came to America, worked a lot with Jean-Pierre Jeunet, the great French filmmaker who made one horrible alien movie. But I mean, he started his career with Delicatessen. He made City of Lost Children. He shot Seven, Alien Resurrection, unfortunately, In Dreams, The Ninth Gate, the Funny Games remake, The Ruins. This is a guy whose visual language really defined a decade of filmmaking, and we don't know his name, and I think that's not going to change because I said it, right? Everyone's going to forget Kanji immediately after this show's over. But I think that's kind of the sad thing, is that the guy that's most directly responsible for gathering the art department's work, which was overseen by a director and approved by a director, and turning it into an actual film. The guy who works with the lighting department to actually understand how, not just how to light a scene, but how to light a scene for storytelling purposes. It's the guy who has to figure out how much coverage is actually necessary for an editor to put a scene together. A director of photography is an extremely important role, and we never talk about these guys. I mean, people know who Dean Cundley is, I guess, because the guy's done the convention circuit a few times, and because he worked with Carpenter, who we fetishize, right? I recently watched a video on one of the streaming services, and they interviewed a bunch of YouTubers and amateur critics and said, "Who's your favorite horror director?" And all but two said John Carpenter, and there was like 40 of them. And one of the other ones said Rob Zombie, by the way. So there you go. The other one said James Whale, and I was all happy for a second. But we fetishize the directors to such a degree that we kind of lose sight of the fact that, Cundley didn't shoot, The Ward, and you can tell, right?
Right. He did Jurassic Park, though.
There you go. So it's not just director of photography that I'm trying to highlight here. I'm trying to highlight the fact that I'd like us to get over this fixation with directors as the be and all. I know we use it as a shorthand for careers, and there's certainly people who have a stamp, and their films from a distance, like your David Cronenberg's, your David Lynch's. I get it. But in a lot of cases, you can directly look at the contributors to a film in these well-regarded directors' filmographies, and you can see when they stopped working together. It's kind of like, I love Lucio Fulci, but you can tell when Dardano Sacchetti stopped working with him as a writer. You can tell that exact moment things change. And I just like to maybe suggest that people, next time you're doing a search, for your favorite director, see who they worked with, see who shot the film, see who wrote the film, and maybe follow those people's careers. You might be really pleasantly surprised that someone who, shot The Ruins also shot Seven, right? That should interest you as a film fan. And that's what I got. I just wanted to kind of throw out that maybe we fixate on the wrong stuff.
He also was a cinematographer on the Limp Bizkit video Boiler.
I knew you were going to. I knew someone was going to.
That was a good video.
I'm just surprised it wasn't Biz.
That's a damn good video, by the way. The Boiler video is damn good. It's a damn good song too.
Well, let's not go crazy here.
Also want to give a shout out.
I'm sorry.
I also want to give a shout out to my boy Michael Wincott. He's in the chat. He and I have gotten close recently, and he tuned in tonight. He knew we were going to be talking about him, so
he beat me to it. I had to mention Resurrection to Lauren.
I want Bai Ling in the chat now. Get a little pro read again.
Alien Resurrection looks great. That's not the problem with that movie.
Oh, I love that weird vibe. It doesn't feel. You can tell it's
Yeah.
not an American director. I like Resurrection a lot.
Yeah.
Dude,
There's cool
Yeah,
stuff in
I
it.
don't hate
There's
it.
cool stuff in it.
If you haven't seen City of Lost Children, though,
Oh,
one
absolutely.
that's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Look up all of Juno's stuff, man. Juno's the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, City of Lost Children's amazing.
Homily, Delicatessen.
Yeah, he makes great films. Another name that doesn't come up enough.
Mm-hmm.
I used to, the guy who shot The Hitcher, and I used to know his name by heart because whenever I saw it in movies, I knew that it was going to be a great looking movie, but now I can't think of his name. But yeah, great cinematographer. Oh God, I clicked on a link and it took me to the remake. Go away, X out of that. Let me get away from that. Anyway, look up the director of photography for The Hitcher. Anything that his name is on is going to look great.
It matters. It all matters.
Also, great news. This just came in on off the wire. Platinum Dunes has been resurrected. Michael Bay is back. Thank you. You want to talk about a real director, a real auteur? Bay's back. Platinum Dunes is back. Thank God.
What are they gonna remake? God, where can they go now?
I'm saying Blumhouse now has some serious competition.
Yeah.
You know what, though? I mean, looking back at Platinum Dunes, they don't look as bad today as they looked at when it was happening.
Hills Have Eyes remake.
It's kind of true, to be honest. The Chainsaw remake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Itcher remake is bad, but it's not as bad as, say, the Fog remake, right?
Oh, that's atrocious.
Don't let old Curly Jaws know this, but I've not seen the Hitcher remake, and I'd like to keep it that way.
It's nothing. It's inferior, but it's not offensively inferior until the last 10 minutes where it goes like nutty. But whatever. I mean, I forgot it as soon as I saw it, pretty much.
John Seal, yes, thank you, Stingray. That was the director of photography for The Hitcher. John Seal.
Oh wow.
Lauren, or I'm sorry, Dan, did you have something that you wanted to add?
Oh, just really quick. Apparently, we might be getting Con Air 2 in space.
Wow.
It is the Simon West, the original director, years ago had joked about doing a Con Air 2, and now he's somewhat serious. Nick Cage might be on board, and it's going to feature a group of convicts hijacking a commercial space flight. So we might be getting, Jeff Bezos or something getting like kidnapped, and we got to send Cameron Poe to save the day. I'm all for it. Face Off 2, I know, is in the works right now. Michael Bay, speaking of him, The Rock 2, there might be some movement on that. So,
I like The Rock.
Don Simpson,
I love
Jerry
The Rock.
Bruckheimer.
I like The Rock too. Yeah.
Don Simpson, Jerry Bruckheimer. Yeah.
It's been many years, but I remember liking it too.
Who do
That's
you
one of Bay's
replace
best movies.
Sean Connery with, though? That's the only thing. Connery really made that movie with.
You can't replace Sean Connery.
Yeah.
I got this. You just call Gary Oldman and say, we need Sean Connery. Done. No one's going to be upset.
We're Rock out of here.
They could probably get Ed Harris on board, though.
I just want to hear Oldman do the effing the prom queen line.
Winners go home and prom queen.
Con Air is such a fun movie. I mean, it's dumb, but my God, you go back and watch that now. To hell with these stupid Fast and Furious movies. Con Air is just maybe the ultimate 90s dumb action movie.
Doesn't John Cusack just drive around all movie?
Pretty much, yeah.
A big portion of the second act he does, yeah.
Colomini's car is just getting like pulled through midair and destroyed. That from beginning to end. If you guys haven't watched it in a while, you really should sit down. It ages really well. There's a lot of politically incorrect stuff in there that I forgot about, but man, from top to bottom. And you got to bring back Steve Buscemi.
I was going to say Buscemi.
I was going to say
Garland Green. Yeah.
Garland Green.
Yeah.
The most lovable. He did at the end. He was gambling in Vegas. He
was in Vegas at the end. Yeah.
Decided not to kill the little girl in the desert, and all of a sudden he's just a lovable serial killer. It's delightfully stupid, and I love Con Air. I'm all for Con Air too. All for it.
I think the person who had the easiest job in that movie was Michael T. Williams, who just like his whole character is he's in like an insulin shock the entire movie. Like, we're going to pay you millions of dollars to just sit there and look sweaty. Perfect. You know. Yeah.
Danny Trejo, Dave Chappelle. My God, that.
Yeah.
John Malkovich.
Cyrus the Virus. That's right. Yeah.
He said that was like some of the most fun he's ever had on a movie set too. Like he'd be, I don't know how exactly, but maybe a cyborg or something if they go really crazy with it.
Look, I'm always grateful to Con Air because John Cusack only did it for the money. And he did it specifically so he could fund Grosse Point Blank, which is one of my favorite action comedies. So I'm always grateful for Con Air just for the fact that Cusack was able to make Grosse Point Blank.
He had a good record for the longest time. He's kind of gone that same route now of just taking a paycheck for, all sorts of things. But
started with that Raven movie.
Oh,
yeah.
The Raven.
So disappointing. The Raven.
When we all went, what?
What's that Stephen King one he did? The one he did.
The Cell.
Yes. Well, he did a few. 1408.
Oh yeah, I didn't.
That one with Samuel L. I couldn't finish it, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Samuel L. Jackson was in both of those with him. 1408 and The Cell. Yeah.
How do you do a Face Off 2 though? That's my thing. How do you do Face Off Part 2?
Pedro Pascal wants to be in it with Nick Cage, so
they worked really well together in the Unbearable Weight. Yeah, they were really good together.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, that's not what's going to happen. It's going to be like, can we pay Ryan Reynolds to do it? That's what's going to happen. That's Hollywood's answer to everything.
But are they gonna make it that hardcore though? Because Face Off is just so raw.
There's some great action in that movie, man. There's some great action scenes in that movie.
Face Off, yeah.
Oh, it's insane.
That was Woo at the top of his American game, at least.
Yeah.
So
you get Ryan Reynolds in it, you're gonna have like the dub scene, and they're all just gonna like go into a helicopter blade or something. It's just gonna be a big action comedy. It'll be more like The Thing with Two Heads or something like that. They'll just turn it into a comedy.
We need Woo directing the next Deadpool movie. There we go.
Yeah,
Dan, I'm doing a commentary for The Thing with Two Heads later this year because
it's a great movie. It's a lot of fun.
A computer algorithm is going to make the new Deadpool movie just like the rest of the Marvel catalog.
Great show.
I like Ryan Reynolds. I don't care what you guys say.
I first discovered him in a movie called Boltneck. I don't know if anybody remembers that one. Kind of a more no, well, actually, I think it's R-rated, but it kind of still felt like a more family-friendly horror comedy.
Yeah, I think they were aiming for the PG-13, and it didn't come back, but they weren't willing to cut anything.
Yeah.
Waiting. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but I think that movie's hilarious.
Oh, that's
yeah. I'm with you, Jay. I'm a fan. I can't help it. Ryan Reynolds.
The 10-second rule.
That came up recently. I know everything in that movie has happened, as gross as it is.
Hey,
yeah,
I'd never.
If you've worked in the restaurant business, that movie is like, oh my god, I know all those people. Really, it's whoever wrote that spent some time in the kitchen.
I tell people, I'm like, they're gonna spit on that shit. Don't fucking send it back.
Look, hey, I used to date somebody who used to like dog out waiters and waitresses. Man,
no, you don't do that.
Once I had my plate, is there anything wrong with it? No, everything's good here.
Yeah. Oh, everything's great. Everything's great. Yeah. So if me and my girlfriend go out somewhere and like her steak's not done to her liking, I'm just like, honey, you're not eating. Don't send it back because it's going to end up being wiped across the bathroom floor.
Or
Do not
worse.
send it back. Just eat the veggies around it.
It's gonna
Yeah.
go on Luis Gomez's ball sack.
Yeah. I knew a woman that worked for Hooters, and she told me one time that there was a customer who complained about the coffee. The coffee wasn't hot enough, so she went and got him a fresh cup of coffee, took it in the bathroom, stuck her finger in her behind, and swirled it around inside the coffee for him.
Is she single? Is the question. You can just DM me the number.
You got it. You got it.
Sound like a chick you want to party with, Dan?
Absolutely.
So
I want some of your famous coffee.
Heard you got the best damn coffee in the world.
And according to her, he drank it right down, and he liked it. So do not complain about your food at a restaurant unless you want them to do horrible things.
I just like a classy lady. What can I say? You know.
Jesus. Well, let's call it. Let's call it.
DJ Donnelly says that's gross. You think?
A little bit, DJ. Just a little.
Probably not as gross as smelling Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina candle, but
I would rather smell her candle than the finger in the coffee.
This is a hell of a topic to end on, but
I know this is a hell of a topic to end on.
You can't top it now, though. So.
No. Do not complain about your food at a restaurant. Just don't eat it. Leave. You know, they will mess with the food. Anyway, let's call it a night right there. Dan, where can we find you on social media?
Flesh Wound Features on YouTube, and we are in you've got less than 2 hours to vote for Horror YouTuber of the Month. It is so close that you can decide who wins. So, it's
how close is it at the moment?
2 or 3 votes.
Who's leading?
Last I looked, Lauren and Sam are second, I think, and Jake's slightly ahead.
Okay. See, if Sam had cut that promo, y'all be winning right now. We tried to get Sam to cut that promo, but I don't know. I guess she just didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, because when you
I think she would have destroyed them all, and it just wouldn't have been fair. So
she can be vicious. So maybe it was smart that she didn't, But anywho,
you mean Clarissa? Talking about Clarissa there?
I'm unfamiliar with that reference. Clarissa Explains It All?
Yeah, Jake cut a promo and called her.
That's right. I forgot about that. I
was like, I know what you're talking about. I just couldn't remember.
I forgot about that. Monty, where can we find you on social media?
RMJ Movie Reviews at YouTube. I'll be posting. I got a weight loss challenge right now because that's just a cool thing to talk about.
Oh, awesome.
So that's every single Friday for the next 7 months is what I gave the window for myself and my goal. And I'm gonna be doing the review for the Martin reunion this Saturday. So I'm gonna post that on Saturday, and then I'm gonna get back to reviewing some 90s low budget actioners in between, like on Wednesdays. So
cool.
Yeah. Some Billy Blanks, Roddy Piper.
Okay. Very
Love
nice.
that. Love that.
Mike, where can we find you on social media?
Twitter at BMovieMike at the moment. That's about it.
Stingray, where can we find you on social media?
Wait, did somebody say Billy Blanks?
Oh, is that TC 2000?
Yeah, man.
Oh, that's the classic. I was watching Back in Action yesterday.
Awesome. Yeah. Heck yeah, VHS. Yeah, I'm Jay the Stingray everywhere. Check me out Wednesday nights at 11 or 12 Eastern. And we do live commentaries over there. A lot of fun. Check them out.
Lauren, where can we find you?
At Lauren Dixon on the Twitter. Visit My Voices 1 on the YouTubes. And, no pressure on anyone to vote in this thing for Sam and I. We decided very early on that we'd rather have fun than win. So we had fun in our own way. I think it's been a great experience. and it certainly has helped a lot of channels. But the important thing is, guys, and I mean this community has grown, and there's a lot of great people in this community. If that's what the end result of anything is, that's what deserves to really win. To be honest with you, the fact that we've connected with so many great people, so many people communicate with us. We've all had low points over the last few years. I think everyone on the globe has had low points over the last few years, but it's amazing what just a single message, a single joke, a single phone call, a single text message has meant. And this community has definitely been part of what has got us through. So that's what I'm grateful for. The world won't change whether I win or lose a contest, but I've already won because I have all the guys you see on screen here, the rest of the Region Free cast, and all you guys out there in the chat. And I mean that's very sincerely. I've had a really fucked up week. Believe me, it's great knowing you guys are in the corner.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Likewise.
Stone, where can we find you on social media?
Oh, well, I'm on Twitter at Stone Gasman, and of course, I got a YouTube channel where I do 50th anniversary commentaries. This Saturday night at 9 p.m. will be Conquest of the Planet of the Apes plus Rise of the Planet of the Apes. So 9 p.m. this Saturday night, I'll be doing back-to-back commentaries for those. And on July 4th at 6:30 p.m., Born on the 4th of July, starring Tom Cruise as Vietnam veteran Ron Kovic, who comes home from Vietnam paralyzed from the mid-chest down, directed by Oliver Stone.
Well done. Well done.
Yep.
I'm Pizzal everywhere, of course. And got a bunch of videos coming out in the near future. New soda tasting videos with Jeremy, and God help me, for some reason, I've been thinking about returning to the Dollar Tree and seeing what they've got in the $1.25 stack now, and doing another one of those.
Pick up Mary, the Gary Oldman horror film, for $1.25 currently.
Okay. I may have to get that one. But I've been thinking about another Dollar Tree horror movie challenge.
I think if the economy keeps going the way it's going, you're going to have a lot of competition at that Dollar Tree.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Although before
Holy shit, $1.25, that's expensive.
Oh goodness. But yeah, so got a lot of stuff lined up on my channel in the near future. So keep your eyes peeled. And of course, we will return on Region Free in July for a big July roundup show to cover all the news and whatnot that happens during July. So we hope you all out there are having a great summer so far, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Until then, check out all of our individual channels, and follow us on social media so you can stay abreast of all the Region Free activity, or support us over on Patreon. That link is in the description. All right, so thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace.
You said Brad.